All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Now, I know they are very eager to trade for next week because last week we actually won three trades back to back. But I want you to slow down because we have to break down these 20 pairs using the fxalexg set and forget strategy and find the best pairs. If we do not get opportunity, we cannot really trade them, right? So let's see what we have on the markets for next week. All right, so last week, absolutely beauty of a trade on USD card. Allergy actually took one of those pairs. I'll put it on the screen right now, right? Of which I did not take, by the way. Also, I called a pair on gold. We are pretty much still close to take profits, and then Euro GBP. We are still in profits, and I'm currently still holding this market because I also do hold market over the weekends, right? I know that that is one of the rules. Probably you guys don't do that, but I've done a little bit of research to know that I just really have to just hold to the final take profit target. It doesn't matter whether the week has ended or not, right? So make your own decision on that matter, right? So now let us break down the new pairs we're going to be trading for next week. So let's start from USD card to see if we have more opportunities on the market that's giving us money. So we just start by deleting everything, look at a cleaner perspective of what the market is doing right now. So clearly, you can clearly see that the daily time frame is clearly bullish, right? Weekly time frame is also bullish. I almost do not have to check, but it's clearly bullish. Daily time frame bullish. Sorry, 4 hour time frame now also bullish. So we have three time frame in sync. Now the only thing that will make us not to take this trade for buys is if we do not have an area of interest. So let's look for an area of interest and see. So okay, so the area of interest. First of all, I really do not like when there's no enough structure close to current market price, right? As you can see, this right here was pretty much close to my current market price, not that far. But the area of interest we might be drawing might start from here. So this right here is, let's see how long that was to current market price. From this high right here to this current market price, that is over 210 days. Might be irrelevant to what market is doing right now, right? But market structure is bullish. We should just be looking for buys, right? So I'm just pointing that out for now, right? So let's still look for the area of interest if we can get. So this might be the closest area of interest, first of all, right? Now let's go over to the left and see, because right now we have just two rejections from that area. We at least need three rejections for this area to be valid. Now let's go over to the left. Now we are already entering 2025, as you can clearly see. So to me, this area of interest is weak, simply because the price data is way too far. But it's also a valid area of interest because we rejected this area in 2024, sometime in 2025, two times in 2025, and then very recent in, oh, not even recent, 2025. So the price data we are using is 2025 data basically. So I simply believe that this market will continue buying, and the reason I'm still drawing this area of interest, even if we are using 2025 data, is simply because the market structure is strongly bullish. If it was otherwise, I would think otherwise, right? So let's just look at other time frames to drive our conclusion. Coming over to the 4 hour time frame. So let me just come a little bit closer. I need to see what's going on here. So 4 hour time frame, market structure is also bullish. In this case, this will just simply be the higher high, and this will simply be the higher low, right? And seems like we're already having the retracement. Let's go over to the entry time frame, which is the 1 hour. Now the 1 hour time frame is also bullish, right? So our game plan is simply to look for an engulfing candle right here to continue buying, right? So let me show you exactly what I'm looking for. So this right here has a lot of momentum. I want it to still slow down, maybe a doji or something. Then we have an engulfing right here before we can buy. Right? But if we do not have that engulfing and we start having the engulfing around here, let me show you. Let's assume this momentum, this selling pressure continued, and we start having the engulfing around here. I will no longer be interested in buying this market, except we have a new bullish structure then we'll look for new engulfings to buy. I hope that makes sense because we only buy on a bullish market. We don't buy in a bearish market. If price start creating structures below this orange line, that simply means that the market is now currently bearish and we cannot really buy from a bearish market, right? So we have to wait for 1 hour to shift structure bullish again before we buy. So I'm still currently interested in USD card, mostly because it made me money last week, right? So let's look at other pairs. GBP still believe this market should be selling. I'm not really sure what's going on right now. So let's see. So GBP again, we are still going to be using the same area of interest that we had on the daily, right? Coming over to the left, you can see multiple rejections from the area of interest. It has held price multiple times, but price supposed to be selling, but it's just pretty much consolidating around this area. So let me remove this to show you guys what we have. So the market structure on this is currently what? Currently, okay. Let me come a little bit closer. So this was a high, okay. So broke above, now broke below, and now above. So this market structure is actually currently bullish. So we simply have to wait for this market to shift bearish again. So this will be the new game plan on how to enter GBP for next week. So let's delete all these minor things so that we can see what we have. So daily is still bullish, right? But we want to sell, so we'll wait for daily to be bearish. Okay. Now let's go over to the 4 hour. 4 hour time frame is very close, but it's bearish. It's still bearish, right? Now this will be my game plan for GBP. So GBP, what I'm simply looking for is a break under this particular area of interest, right? So you see this particular one, I expect price to react from that area, right? But we can't really know where it's going to stop. You see, that's the only problem. But if price is now around this area and we're having a break and retest under that area, at least we know that the direction is now changing. Do you understand what I mean? Because market is pretty much bullish and it's now consolidating here. If you start having candlesticks around this level, it simply means that we are now having that bat pattern that I talked about. I don't know if you guys remember it. So let me show you guys again. Bat pattern. How do you spell bat? Bat pattern. So let me show you guys the bat pattern I'm talking about. So this right here, yeah, that is the one right here. You can see buys very strong buying pressure, right? Slow down or some form of consolidation, then a strong sell to the downside. So that's exactly what I'm waiting for, right? Buy very strong buying pressure, consolidation, and some form of strong selling to the downside. So pretty much what we are trying to catch is, instead of looking for the top of where to buy, you don't know which one is going to weak you out. We will pretty much start selling from this level, right? So as soon as price start curving to the downside, then we'll now just join the selling pressure, right? So that's pretty much the game plan I'm looking to see on GBP. So I'm simply just going to be waiting for a break, retest, and engulfing under this level. So that will prove three things. It proves that price has rejected from the main area of interest. It proves that price has shifted structure bearish because it will break under this low. It proves that price has broken under area of interest, and it also proves that price is shifting structure because the EMA will also turn bearish, right? So that is a lot more safer than actually selling from here. So that is the next pair I'll be paying attention to for next week, GBP. Next pair we have GPBUSD. I simply believe that this market is gone, but let us see if we can get more opportunities. Now the market is gone. This is the final take profit target, and you can see that price has pretty much hit that level. So we pretty much missed this trade, but it was not a missed trade because we actually won other pairs, right? So GPBUSD is gone for this week until further notice, right? Same thing with NZD-USD. NZD-USD, this is the final take profit target. It hasn't really gotten there yet, but I assume that this market too is gone as well because the major move, which is this one right here, has already happened, right? Yeah, that's already happened. So that is that for that. NZD card. All right, NZD card. I was looking for buys on this market, but price is not really was not really giving me the opportunity I was looking for. So what I was looking for was a clean break above area of interest, a retracement to that area to buy. But the retracement broke under the area again, no longer interested. Had a break above, interested, break under, no longer interested. So you just see what market was doing. So once the price start having new breaks above this area, I'll be interested. Or if price gets back to this area and give us good, better patterns, I'll be interested, right? But for now, I don't know what market is doing, and I'll not be paying attention to a market where I don't understand where the market is doing. For now, what I believe that the market should do is a retracement back to this area, because we are already having that clean break and retest. So let me show you guys. If you come over to this area right here, you can see that we already have this EMA is above, by the way. We already have this clean break, retest, doji, and engulfing. So I simply believe that this market will continue selling all the way back into this area of interest. So that's that for NZD card, right? So NZD card, mm, I'm not interested on NZD card for this week. So that is that for NZD card. And Euro NZD, let's see what we have. All right, Euro NZD market has decided to now currently be bullish, which I'm not happy about, because the selling trade would have given us a higher risk reward ratio, because this right here will be the final take profit target, right? But for right here, the final take profit target could be this one, or this one. So you don't know where price is actually going to react from. But the daily time frame is what? Bullish. So the daily time frame is currently bullish. The weekly time frame is also bullish, right? It's also bullish. And then the 4-hour time frame is also bullish. So it just simply makes sense for us to continue buying, right? So now let's just delete everything and just look for the area of interest that is most valid. Coming back to the daily time frame, let's look for an area of interest that is more, or the most valid area of interest that we can get. So what I believe is this area of interest is way more valid, right? But I believe this is a 4-hour area of interest, because it will be way more cleaner on that area. So coming over to the 4-hour time frame, you can see that we are now having multiple rejections. As you can see, very clear rejections from that area, from this particular area of interest, as you can see. So simply just be calling this a 4-hour area of interest, because it's way more cleaner on the 4-hour time frame. I saw it on the daily time frame, but it's way more cleaner on the 4-hour time frame. I hope that makes sense. So simply what I'll be looking for is for reasons to continue buying, since market has decided to continue buying, right? So simply what I'll be looking for right now is a retracement back into this area. To buy. So I'll be adding Euro NZD for this week. So let's look at how the 1 hour will be looking. 1 hour time frame. Well, when we have the retracement, we'll decide on what to do on the 1 hour time frame. That's why the Telegram is needed. So just in case you are new to the channel, you don't know how to join the Telegram, this is how to join the Telegram. Come over to the channel right here. You will see the profile and all that. You see this one that says Instagram and one more link. Just click on that one. And then you see this one that says Telegram. Click on the Telegram and join the Telegram channel, when I'll be calling these trades live when I'm about to enter them, right? So that's that for Euro NZD. I'll be adding it for this week. NZD JPY is the next pair. Let us see what we have. Daily time frame. You see, I think this is very similar to what I just said on Euro NZD. Is looking for buyers would have been better, because it would have given a cleaner risk reward ratio, which is better, right? Very, I don't know how to explain it, but like a higher risk reward ratio. But this right here is now choosing to be selling. In this case, I'll just simply ignore this one. But okay, all right, let me just break it down and have a direction. But I don't think I'll be interested in this one. So daily time frame, the area of interest I can see right here, that's the cleanest, will be this one right here, because we had one rejection. Let me bring it down. Because we had one rejection or multiple rejection here, but I'll just call it one. 2 rejection right here, 3 rejection, so it's valid, right? So price could still breeze price through this area and sell all the way to this structural point, or start reacting from this level. So I've already seen that, but I don't think I'll be interested in this market. So next pair, please. Euro GBP. I'll just simply continue to wait for this trade to get to 1:2. I believe that the final take profit target will be this 0.87249, right? So that will be the final take profit target. But if price get to this level right here, 1:2, I'll decide on if to close depending on how the market is behaving, right? Or if the market is behaving well, then I can pretty much hold to the final take profit target. So for Euro GBP, there's no need to analyze it. I'm still going to be holding my trade until the final result, right? CAD JPY. CAD JPY, I also called for sales last week. As you can see, what I was simply waiting for was what? Some form of extra structure, then a break and retest to the downside. Not really sure. I mean, we had the structures, but the break and retest was not really clean. They're supposed to be having the break and retest around here. So did not see, did not enter. So that's pretty much happened for CAD JPY. But let us see what we have for this week. So we delete everything that we have and have a cleaner perspective of what the market is doing right now. So first of all, it's already showing bearish signs. Daily structure is what? Daily structure is currently bearish. Okay, so daily is bearish. Let's see the weekly. Weekly is also bearish. Alright, so the area of interest that makes sense most seems to be this one on the weekly. So I'll just draw it. This is the area right here. So let me show you guys why. Let me put the demonstration too. So this right here is one rejection, as you can clearly see. This right here was not really a clear rejection. It just breezed past the area and breezed past the area again for the second time. So I will not count this as a rejection. This right here is another rejection because it clearly stopped around that area and reversed to the upside. Same thing here. So this is at least 3 rejections from this area. So this is the weekly area of interest. That's actually been a while that I got a weekly area of interest, right? But that is a weekly area of interest. So let us see if it makes sense on the daily. So the daily, it has one rejection right here. Going over to the left, we have another rejection and somewhat of another 2 rejections right here. So that is the valid area of interest we'll be using in this case. Now going over to the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame structure is currently bearish, but based on the weekly, seems like we need a retracement back into area. So we need like a retracement back into the area to sell, to continue selling. Do you understand what I mean? Let's go over to the daily and see what the daily is telling us. So the daily is pretty much telling us that we could actually have a retracement back into this area, or we could just pretty much be selling from here. So the daily do not have any clear bias on what's going to happen immediately, but we just know that the overall bias is for sales, because clearly can clearly see that the EMA is shifting structural bearish, and we are breaking structures to the downside, which is the characteristics of a bearish market, right? Now the 4-hour time frame. All right, so the 4-hour time frame is currently bearish. Pretty much what we are going to be looking for is either a retracement back into this area to sell. So let me show you a retracement back into this area of interest to sell, right? When we have bearish market structure here, by the way, to sell, or we just continue with the selling pressure based on what the daily is telling us, right? And then look for clean break retest and engulfing to continue selling until we potentially get to, let's see where, until we potentially get to this level right here. So this will be our final take profit target for this market. It's as easy as that. But you can also use the weekly final take profit target. I just feel that might be a little bit unrealistic, right? So this is actually the final take profit target for the weekly time frame right here, which is the weekly structural point, right? So that's pretty much it for CAD JPY. I'll still decide on if to add this market for this week or not, but I'll just keep it close just to observe and see. So that's that for that one. GBP AED is the next pair. So weekly, let's see what's going on. Weekly, we have a very strong area of interest on the weekly, by the way. Is it bullish? Weekly is bullish. Daily, Daily is also bullish, but we are below area of interest, so we can't really be buying right now until we are above area of interest. 4 hour time frame, 4 hour time frame is currently bearish, so we have to wait for market to shift bullish for us to buy. So for now, price still has a lot of things to do before we'll be interested. Should I bring it? I feel like this might be ready next week instead. So I'm not interested. Euro JPY. Let's start from the weekly. Let's see. All right, weekly not so clean. Market structure is bullish, right? Because you can just clearly see that one. Um, what is this? Daily time frame. Okay, I'm not interested in the market that is very confusing. Next pair, AUD USD. Okay, AUD USD. I was expecting a retracement back into this area to sell. We had a retracement, but it was not back into the area, and we sold. So we just missed it basically. But it did not get back into the area, so we never even took the trade. Right now, let's see what we have right now. Not clean. I don't like the daily. The 4 hour, do I like it? I don't also like the 4 hour time frame. The weekly time frame, the weekly time frame is not that bad. I believe that weekly could actually trade all the way to this level, but the other two time frames I don't like them, and those are the closer time frames to my entry time frame. So I will not be interested in on AUD USD this week. Next pair we have GBP JPY. Weekly time frame, by the way, seems to be consolidating because pretty much, let me show you guys. This right here was the high that was created on Monday 2nd February 2026. 2026. So since February, price is pretty much about just 51 pips difference. Since February, 51 51 pips difference till June. From February to June, 51 pips difference. Very is a consolidating market. So that is already a turn off because, by the way, the set and forget strategy doesn't really work on a consolidating market. To be honest, it works on a trending market. So market that have volume is moving over to one direction, having clean break and retest. Those are the kind of markets that this strategy works on. So first of all, that is one thing I don't like. But let us continue and see daily time frame. Let's see daily time frame trending to the upside. Um, also not clean. Also not clean. Next pair, Euro AUD. All right, so let's see if we can have an opportunity here. So Euro AUD weekly time frame technically is bearish, right? Technically is bearish. Daily time frame is bullish, right? So daily time frame is bullish. Now 4 hour time frame is let's see, bearish. So 4 hour time frame is bearish. So we don't really have two time frame in sync. That's the only reason we might not actually enter this market. But for us to get that two time frame in sync, we need 4 hour structure to actually shift bullish. Then we have a break and retest on that bullish structure on the 4 hour time frame before we can actually pay attention to this market. So this market, I believe, it's not going to be happening this week, but the buying momentum might start happening like next week or thereabout. So I don't know. I should just probably keep it close just to see. Right? Just keep it close to see. Next pair we have is Euro USD. Okay, Euro USD. Let me delete what we have on the market and see a cleaner perspective. So Euro USD selling, right? Let's go over to the daily. Let me just confirm something. We are already at final take profit target. You cannot really pay attention to this market until price is at let's say 1.3733 or thereabouts. Now the reason for that is just simply because we want the market to continue bearish because it's currently bearish, right? So what will make sense for this market is if market is now trading below this area, having a clean break and retest below this area, just like this, then we'll be way more interested in selling this market. You know what? I'll actually keep Euro USD close because it might actually still have that opportunity this week. So Euro USD, you know what? I'll add it for the pairs of this week. I'll add it for the pairs of this week. So that's that. Euro USD. Next pair will be GBP card, I think. GBP card. Let's see. Daily time frame. Oh, let's start with the weekly. Weekly time frame. Currently at a major resistance level. Daily time frame also at that level, but market structure is bullish, so not still interested so far. 4 hour time frame bearish, but also not still interested. I just need bearish signs on this market to be interested in selling, because I believe selling will be way more valid than buying, simply because if you are buying, where are we really buying to? You understand? There's pretty much no market structure. But if you are selling, there are market structures to sell all the way to. Do you understand what I mean? So that's pretty much it for GPP card. That's pretty much it for GPP card. Next pair, GPP CHF. I don't know if this is the pair. Okay, let me see. Weekly time frame bearish, right? Weekly time frame bearish. Daily time frame bullish. Okay, daily time frame bullish. Why is this so confusing? It's so confusing. But it's bullish because this is the higher high and this is the higher low. 4 hour time frame is also bullish. So I believe this market could buy if you have a retracement to this area. I don't want it to be under EME. Have a retracement to around this level to continue buying, but let's look for an area of interest. I don't know. This feels risky. I don't know why it's feeling risky. Maybe it's because we are already at this high, and that might be the final take profit target. Okay, so I think I'm not interested in GBP CHF. Next pair, USD JPY. Also not interested because where are we buying to? There's no structures here. AUD card. Also not interested. AUD JPY. Let's go to the 4 hour to see this one. AUD JPY, not so clean, but I do believe that this market could end up selling, right? If you just have clean break and retest to sell, I believe that this market could end up selling. But I'm not really interested in this market because we are consolidating way too much and shifting structures too much. Then USD CHF last pair. I know someone who used the Set and Forget strategy last week to buy this market, right? And he won, by the way. So it seems like almost all Set and Forget traders won last week. His name is Eugene Kosi. By the way, Eugene, if you're watching this video, just comment. You understand? Just comment. Leave a comment. You're the one that took this trade, right? That's pretty much it. I will break down the markets I just finished calling for next week, right? And then I'll explain them better on a shorter version for people who are not going to watch the longer version. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'll see you guys on the shorter version of the weekly setups.